Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score!
Ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Washed it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. And I said, Stone Cold, why have one when you can have them both?
Swung out and drilled! Deep right center! Away back! Gone for Tony!
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up.
It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Awful.
How is she awful?
Hates freedom.
And now, Any Given Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Ward and Ethan Simpson.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup! Oh, blocked by James! LeBron James with the rejection!
Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Any Given Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ethan Simpson, sitting here with
Brendan Ward.
And let me tell you what, we have a fantastic deal for you. We have the Numbers Don't Lie t-shirts. The B on numbers is a 6. It's orange. I think by now the viewers have gotten that.
Yeah, I think they could do the math by now. You know what I'm saying?
Numbers don't lie. Look at the touchdowns compared to the interceptions.
I mean, just look at it all.
Completion percentage.
All of it, man. I mean, everything but yards. I mean, he wasn't like overzealous in yards, but completion percentage, passer rating, touchdowns to interception ratio. And we could look back to the rookie year, rookie touchdown record. I know it's been broken since then by Justin Herbert this past year, but just look at it. Numbers don't lie. Stop hating.
Yes. Stop the hate, please. Stop the hate. Where can you find those at?
I believe it is KentStagePosters.com.
Did you say KentStagePosters.com?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. KentStagePosters.com, a wonderful website, beautifully created. Don't want to miss it.
KentStagePosters.com.
But speaking of moving on from that, we're going to go ahead and get into the NFL and more specifically the Cleveland Browns. We talked a little bit last week about how Jadeveon Clowney had his visit delayed on Monday, was supposed to come in Wednesday, right around when we were releasing the episode. And we even said on the episode that by the time we release our episode, it's very, very much potentially very much within the realm of possibility that Jadeveon Clowney would be a Cleveland Brown by the time we release our episode. It's almost like we were Nostradamus in that sense because Jadeveon Clowney was a Cleveland Brown by the time we released our episode last week. He officially signed a 1-year deal to play opposite of Myles Garrett. Even more so, the Nostradamuses of us ourselves sat here and we had a conversation about the contract. I said 7 to 10 million. I like the idea of a 6 to 7 base with a 10 million, the option to reach to 10 million in incentives. You said you thought that was great too. Guess what Jadeveon Clowney signed?
I mean, yeah, that like literally
Almost
literally what we said. I said 10 to 12 at most, and his contract at the most is 10.
Right? Yeah.
It was kind of like it was kind of freaky, like a little like goosebumps.
It was a little weird, right? Because word for word, bar for bar, they stole our whole flow, bro. I'm telling you, it's a 7 million base, incentives up to 10 million. The thing that gets me is the wizard that is Andrew Berry, where this is only a $3.1 million cap hit.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that works.
And then I mean, on top of that, to bring back Andrew Berry, while you still have, if you think about it, you had Sashi Brown, you had all these guys to bring back Andrew Barry and how the establishment is doing now,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well,
If you think about it, we had Moneyball guy in here.
Sashi.
Moneyball guy.
Yeah, Sashi, yeah.
And then, and from where we were a couple years ago to now, I mean, it's night and day. I love this Cleveland Browns team.
I do very much so. And how much do you believe of what Clowney said, where he said that his agent was the one that was very against him coming to Cleveland last year? And the reason why I asked this is because that same very agent last year negotiated a contract for his boy Myles Garrett on the opposite side of that defensive line, but in the same offseason was telling Clowney how he shouldn't go to Cleveland. So what I'm saying here is the agent is one of two things. Either he really just doesn't like Cleveland and wanted Clowney to not go there because he didn't believe in him, or he was like, I really don't want you to go opposite of this other guy because it could really take money away from Myles Garrett. And so almost bad on that agent. So what do you think? Do you think that's really truthful that the agent was the reason Clowney didn't come here last year?
Oh, no. I mean, if the agent didn't want to come, yeah, I totally get it. You got to think about it. Think about it, Brendan. If you're an agent and you're sitting there and you have Myles Garrett as one of your clients and you have Clowney as one of your clients, do you want both of them to go to the same team?
Well, no, because it's hard.
because you're not going to make the same amount of money. That's why he didn't want Clowney to go to the Browns.
I get that. The thing is like, I feel like we really should have just left the story at Clowney picked the Titans over the Browns because we talked about it. Who wouldn't have?
Hey, let me tell you what. I've had my experience in the entertainment industry, and let me tell you what. Cash talks.
Oh no,
bull snot walks. I said bull snot.
Bull snot. I heard you.
I'm trying not to cuss.
Yeah,
bull snot
we
walks.
Do very, very well better at that because we do seem to drop a couple here and there all the time for no reason, and that's kind of what I've been saying to you is, but I just feel like it was almost a cop out though. Like, and I get it. The agent, to me, a little like it toes the line of morality, but. If I'm an agent and I've got two defensive ends, I'm not going to want them to go to both at the same team because there's only so much money to go around and all be all. Here's where I wanted Clowney to just leave it as, yeah, I chose the Titans last year because we talked about why wouldn't he have chose the Titans last year? The Browns were coming off of a 6-10 season that was a train wreck. And I know they replaced Kitchens with Stefanski and things went their way last year, but coming off of the Titans were coming off of almost going to the Super Bowl. The Browns were coming off a 6-10 and a train wreck. Who wouldn't pick the Titans? You know what I'm saying? If you'd have left it at that, you chose to go to the winner, whatever. We're fine. But by all means, we're here now. You're here. We're moving. They're moving forward. Let's go win a Super Bowl. We said that last week. Other Browns news. It seems like it was a reactionary, but it really wasn't. We said last week that this could happen. But the Browns did release defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson. Our boy Clowney's on the TV right now. The Browns did release Sheldon Richardson. Honestly, here it's simply Richardson was owed $12 million this year, and the Browns have a defensive line that consists of Garrett and Clowney on the outsides. They brought in Tack McKinley. Andrew Billings is coming back this year. They signed him last year. He opted out for COVID. That was well within his right. Look at Clowney there with somebody opposite him getting to the quarterback. That's what I was talking about last week. When he has someone opposite him, he's a dangerous, dangerous man. But back to Richardson. All I gotta say here is it's really not they chose Clowney over Richardson. It's Richie, despite no matter how good Richardson has been for this Browns team over the last 2 years, $12 million is a lot of money when you're starting to get low on that cap.
Absolutely. And excuse me. I think definitely there's been talks that they're re-signing Richardson. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've been talking about it, and there is still that potential to just bring him back.
yeah. So yeah. I would love to see him back. We've talked about this. Like off air. We've talked about this. We would love to see Richardson back, but I mean, if he goes, he goes, kind of in the Rocky way. But at the same time, he's so essential to our defensive line that you can't let him go.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. He was essential. The problem being is they didn't want him to be that big of a piece of that defense. They brought in Billings to take over that starting job and make it his and be the guy and all of the above. Billings opted out, so Richardson had to step up as the leader of that defense, especially in the absence of a Myles Garrett when he went out for COVID or when Olivier Vernon went out with the ACL. Richardson really shined because he was there and he was the most consistent person. On the opposite side of that, you have Billings. You have a guy in Jordan Elliott that you like on that team. You really like what you have, but I do agree you need to bring in another depth defensive tackle.
God bless you.
Yeah, to fill this line and make it what it is. But I really do think we're gonna see a lot of times where we're seeing a three defensive end defensive line where we're gonna see either Tack or Clowney on the same side as Myles Garrett to try to just destroy a double team or a 2-on-2 matchup. Because if you set up to where you can get Myles and Clowney both 1-on-1 on the same side, especially a quarterback's blind side, that's a dangerous game to play for opposing offenses.
That is, you know what? That is a dangerous game to play. But what if you had Sheldon Richardson right there, just right in your face?
No, and that's what, if they can bring him back, I'm all for it. But the Browns and Andrew Berry are hoping that Andrew Billings is every bit of what Richardson has brought to this team and then some. That's what he's supposed to be for this Browns team. So I can't really be mad if they don't bring him back, but I do agree they do need defensive tackle help. So I put on here, is there an answer, whether it be free agency or the NFL draft? The thing is the NFL draft, it is very commonly known, this is the worst defensive tackle draft in almost the history of the NFL draft. There's just like one person, and that's it. There's no depth at defensive tackle in this draft. So where are they going to find a defensive tackle? And I mean, sure, there's some low-level guys available you could add that might work out in a rotational role or something like that in free agency. But Richardson is probably that top guy now. And if you could bring him back at a much cheaper rate, he loves it here. And you could tell when he posted on Instagram after news broke Thursday that he was being released. He posted on Instagram, man, this was just really starting to feel like home.
Yeah, I did see that.
Almost cried, man. That was
kind of makes your voice crack. There goes Baker.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, we got a highlight reel going on the monitor right now.
Look at all those numbers Baker's putting up, and they don't lie.
Right? Yeah, they do not lie. Once again, you can find your numbers don't lie shirt. The B is a 6. It is an orange. You can get that by yourself. The shirt is a brown shirt, and you can get the 6 in an orange. Where can you find that at, Brendan?
KentStagePosters.com.
That is KentStagePosters.com. So, you know what? Next time I'm at work, I'm actually going to make like a legit, like, put like an underlining background to it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. KentStagePosters.com.
You gonna make a drop for us, or
KentStagePosters.com.
or like a sweeper or a spot or something like that? You're gonna throw on.
I mean, I might steal some of your guys' girls just by doing that.
Just by doing that. But getting to our last point around the NFL, all around the league, there have been teams that have come out and made statements that they are opting out of voluntary minicamp. The Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos were the first to do it last Wednesday, last Tuesday, and then slowly after that, more and more teams just started filling in to where I believe there's only a handful of teams, and I don't know the exact teams, but there's really only a handful of teams that haven't just been like, we're not showing up. Everyone else, because it is voluntary, are showing up. Kevin Stefanski, Browns head coach, had a press conference earlier today where he said that they've been doing like virtual meetings and stuff, and he had a pretty good turnout for that. So that's pretty good, and because that's what you need. You need, but we learned last year you don't necessarily need voluntary minicamp. I like the idea of everybody opting out because then we don't get 3 straight months of media members just kind of going and getting their panties in a bunch about where the hell OBJ is when voluntary minicamps are happening. Like, who cares? He's an 8-year veteran and it's voluntary minicamp. Like, the only people that need to show up to that are rookies and backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of the training camps and whatnot, but the OTAs, but they just said, all right, I'm sorry. We had on the monitor, we had Bali Sports, Great Lakes on, and they were talking about, do the Browns need a wide receiver? I'm sorry to...
No, yeah, we got some
throw
time.
a thing in there.
Let's get in here. Let's get into it. What you got to say?
You know what? I'm going to be a homer. You know who I'm going to say the Browns need for their, at least for their kick and punt returner? You know who I'm going to say?
Yeah, your boy. Your boy.
Our boy.
Our boy. Our boy. I don't know why I said your boy. Our boy, first ever guest on the podcast. Kent State guy, right down the street. What else can we say about him? He's a monster on the field. His name's Isaiah McCoy.
6'2", about 200 pounds. I mean, my man can fucking play the goddamn ball. God, I cussed again.
I mean,
I tried not to.
You got excited, man. It's all good. It's all good. You got excited because you truly are. You've been speaking it into existence, and we're a little over a week away from that exact thing happening. Him realizing his dream in the NFL and using Kent State to do so. And it's really been a ride that I've been fortunate enough to have you have shown me him and been along for now, because it's thrilling to know that that's one of the very first people that me and you have met and called and talked to, and we're just like, you're going to the NFL, and now he is.
And you know what's crazy? Like, the thing too is, like, not only that, but like, so I showed you him when we were both in sports emphasis at Ohio Media School. And it was like that, and I was like, all right, our first guest, Isaiah McCoy, I'll hit him up. So, like, both of us have his number and whatnot. It's just so crazy that we can be in the situation we are to know people who are going to be in the NFL. just to have their contact information.
I mean, right? Like just that day we called him and he picked up the phone and he was like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you in a few. I'm headed to see the Raiders."
Yeah, right. What was that like a month ago?
Yeah, it was like a month ago, and I was just like, I mean, what am I gonna say? Go do you, bro. Go meet with Vegas. Like,
right.
Get your money.
Right. He was supposed to come on the podcast, and he was like, "Hey, sorry, I got to go see the Raiders." And I was like, okay, yeah, go.
I'll do my show, bro. Like, go get your. But
Dude, go do
when
you.
you're in the NFL, say hi to me.
He was like, "Hey, sorry, I got to go see the Raiders." I was like, dude, go.
And it wasn't
you.
just
go.
look, that's the one we're dropping, but he had a bunch of meetings that day with not just that team. That's the one he dropped, but I promise you, he got it going on.
Watch out for dude.
There's people looking
Wherever he lands, we're gonna be fucking. We're gonna be rocking those jerseys, and I've been trying to use the F word a lot less, but when I get excited about people that ride with us,
yeah, right.
That's when that comes out.
He's been our boy since day one for us, for sure. But just as I'd argue to say MAC Player of the Year, should they have had more than 4 games this year, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
If they had more than 4 games, I'd argue that they might have won the MAC title. They just unfortunately lost 1 game, and it was the most important one of the year.
Let's just let's wait for next year.
Yeah, let's wait for next year. Crumb's coming back. It's gonna be a hell of a ride.
He's going to Pittsburgh. I know it, man. It just sucks, but I'll still ride. I'll still get a jersey.
I don't know if I'd wear it, but I'd support it.
No, I won't wear it. I'll frame it.
Yeah, and I'd support it just because we knew who he was and we called that one too. But I don't know if I'm wearing a Steelers jersey. But anything else you got for me in football, my man, before we move on to baseball?
Oh, how about your guy, Alshon?
Alden Smith, you mean?
Yeah.
Got arrested or was charges or something like that yesterday in Florida? I was just, man, that guy came back last year and it seemed like he was on the right path to figuring himself out. He had a hell of a year, arguably.
Did I say Alshon?
Yeah, you said Alshon.
I meant Alson.
Yeah. He came back last year, was on his way to. I mean, I don't even want to say was on his way to having a heck of a year. He had a heck of a year. He was arguably the Cowboys' best pass rusher last year, and it was probably setting up to get paid by them again, or maybe somebody else. And then this happens, and once you went through what he did in his earlier career to the point where he wasn't gonna have an NFL career, and then you come back and get another shot, and then it happens again. It's over. Unless it comes out that he really wasn't at fault and it was really a misunderstanding.
Kind of like Aaron Darnold.
Yeah, kind of like Aaron Donald.
I keep saying Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
Darnold.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why.
It's close, man. It's just an R. Well, and switching of the O and the A's.
That was pretty funny.
But the fact that dude came out and was like, "Yeah, Aaron Donald beat the crap out of me because I tried taking his bottle." First of all, I don't care who you are or how mad you are. If Aaron Donald takes your bottle, here you go. You can have it.
So you know what? That's what I was telling my dad. I was like, I don't think Aaron Donald assaulted this guy. And my dad was like, Aaron Donald. He's like, I know that name. And I was like, defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. I was like, you would know him if you saw him.
Baddest man in the NFL.
Right. I was like, you would know. It'd be like, Myles Garrett who? It'd be like, you would know if you saw him. But this dude, and then he apologized. After Aaron Donald kept 4 other guys from jumping into the fight.
Aaron Donald arguably saved this dude's life and was getting sued.
Yeah. And then my dad was like, oh, Aaron Donald. He's like, I think I know that. And I was like, yeah, he's like the best defensive tackle in the NFL. And then we watched that Hulu commercial where he's like playing tennis. And I was like, that's Aaron Donald. My dad was like, that's Aaron Donald? He's like, some guy thought he got assaulted by him? Like, no way. And I was like, yeah. The guy apologized to him. And he was like, good. And I was like, anyway, if Aaron Donald assaulted that guy, he wouldn't remember who the hell hit him.
Right.
Because Aaron Donald is a goddamn monster.
Well, that's kind of what I was. That's my point. Is Aaron Donald? It ended up not being the true story. But if Aaron Donald was like, "Nah, that's my bottle of vodka," yes, it is, sir.
Right.
Yes, it is. You could have it. I'm not. No altercation necessary here.
It wouldn't even be like if I'm at a club, you know, me and you are at a club, we got a bottle of vodka and we're like chilling here, and Donald's like, "Hey, that's my bottle of vodka." It goes one of two ways. One way is here you go, or the other way is, dude, come on, we'll get some more bottles.
Yeah,
we're
right.
in VIP.
Like
We're in Pittsburgh in VIP.
Yeah,
come
that's
on,
kinda
come
what-
on in.
It's for me and you. It'd be more like an invite thing, right? Like, all right, man, we'll share with you. Shit, come on.
Hey,
But,
come on, then come on our podcast.
Yeah, let's talk, man. But yeah, for it to come out and he was actually saving dude's life from getting curb stomped outside of the bar. And I know the clip we saw was very minute, but I mean, it's very telling that after that clip came out, an hour later, dude's apologizing and recanting his statements and no longer suing Aaron Donald for assault and things like that. Dude got beat up, knew Aaron Donald was there and figured that was the way to get the bag. And he tried it. He got caught up. End of story. How about it though?
How do you do that nowadays? You know, with how much technology is around. You know, they have cameras. People have cameras on their phones.
True. I mean,
there's cameras across the street. There's all this stuff, and to try and get a NFL player like that,
and that's where
wild.
That's where that dude went to college. That's where he's from. Like Aaron Donald, despite playing for the Los Angeles Rams, is a legend in Pittsburgh. Like so it's just
Go Panthers.
But like what I'm saying is, what you're saying is, I don't know if there's any place in public you can realistically walk to where you didn't get caught on camera somewhere. It might be a crappy view from a half a mile or 500 feet down the road or something like that, but you got caught on a camera. I guarantee you,
Even down here.
well, that's what I'm saying. I guarantee you, we step outside of this building and stand in front of the stage. Buffalo Wild Wings catches us.
I know there's a camera for a fact.
Yeah, or Euro.
There's
Gyro,
multiple cameras. Yeah,
Euro,
everywhere.
or Euro, or however you say it, has a camera. The parking garage down the street has a camera. You walk out here, there's cameras galore. There's probably built-in cameras in these darn parking meters down here and stuff. You can't get away with lying about it unless you're in a club, you got beat up in the club, and you know for sure that club don't have cameras, and it's really hard to corroborate any statement against you. It's just it was a dumb move. Dude got caught, and I can't believe he's just getting away with being like, "Well, I'm sorry."
Yeah, I think Aaron Donald might just go whoop his ass right now. I keep saying Darnold.
Yeah,
I don't know
mean,
why. I'm so used to saying Sam Darnold.
We talk about Sam Darnold quite a bit.
I know. You know what? Aaron Donald should go whoop his ass right now.
I mean, if I'm going to get in trouble for something, might as well go do it, right?
Right.
But we're going to go ahead and move on to baseball, my man. We're about halfway through. We got baseball and basketball. The Indians dropped 2 of 3 over the weekend against the Cincinnati Reds. They did win Sunday's matchup 6-3. They are currently 8-7. That's 1 game back of the top spot in the Central. The Royals currently hold that at 9-6. The offense still continues to struggle. Obviously, we didn't get to talk about it last week because it happened afterwards, but they did get no hit the other day by the pitcher that faces them again tonight. Tuesday night. What's his name? Rodon or something like that. And it's not like it's a top of the line guy. It's a middling guy who struggled his whole career, and all of a sudden, boom, no hits the Indians after a night before where they had to go into extra innings, and Shane Bieber pitched a complete game shutout just to barely get his W with 2 runs when they scored in the 11th. Just all sorts of bad. But with how bad this offense is, we talked about it a little earlier. They were talking about how Josh Naylor should go to first on the show or whatever. How long is it till Bradley's up or Daniel Johnson's up or Nolan Jones is up? I put the F word on here. I said because screw it. Jake Bowers sucks
Just say it.
Because fuck it. Jake Bowers sucks at first, and the center fielder committee blows ass. That's what I wrote on here. Like, that's how, like, emotional I got about it when I was just writing this rundown. Because these are normally just bullet points, and I was like, screw Jake Bowers, and whoever's in center field, screw them too, because Luplo's bat is no longer working either. So if we're gonna get these veterans whose bats aren't working anyways, who really aren't that great defensively anyways, give me Daniel Johnson out there to develop in center field. Give me Bobby Bradley at first base. I don't want to hear about his strikeouts because everybody strikes out 90% of the time anyways. Aaron Judge almost won MVP last year. Or last year and the year before, striking out like 300 times, 400 times, something like that. I don't want to hear about strikeouts. Every power hitter in the MLB now is doing nothing but striking out or hitting home runs. There's really no in between. That's the way it works. Get the kid up here. There's no minor leagues going on right now. All he's doing is sitting on his ass down there, and he's like, get him up here, let him play. He ain't never going to learn. And you already know Jake Bowers isn't the answer at first base. You already know whoever you have at center field is just not going to work. So, I mean, we're not getting runs anyways. It's not like they're going to negatively affect the offense that much. Honestly, I think it would just improve the defense a little bit. So, get the young guys up here. Let's learn. But really, how long do you think before that happens?
Okay. You want my opinion?
I do want your opinion, man.
Do you want my...
You love baseball more than me. You are a baseball
That's
guy.
why- that's
I want
why
your
it-
opinion.
That's why I am talking quietly. Because when I start talking quietly, you can tell I'm mad. Just let me know when you want me to get mad.
I want you to go on a rant of all rants if you want to. Right now.
All right. Well, so the offense.
Yeah.
Are we talking about the offense?
We are talking about the offense, but just the team in general.
All right. Well, the pitching is good. Don't get me wrong. We have the strongest pitching from the starting rotation to the bullpen to the farm league.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk about the offense and everything like that, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? There we go. See, I got you to say it. Now I'm saying it again. I'm getting a little too loud. Sorry.
Yeah. Get loud.
Sorry.
Hold the
But
microphone away.
yeah. Hold the microphone away. I know. I grew up in a music venue. I should know to hold the music or the mic away from me. So, Bobby Bradley. Why are they not bringing him up? I think they want to fucking send him somewhere, to get some more players, which is not the move I would make. But that's why I'm not a MLB GM. I don't know. But you know what? If I was an NFL GM, I would have kept Brian Hoyer on retainer, which is not a bad idea. Or Josh McCown.
Smart guy that can teach
Or
your team.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
All smart guys
But-
that can teach your team. I agree.
But why did they not bring him up? Bobby Bradley, they tried to bring him up, what was that, 3 years ago? And he didn't work out, but he was still young. He's learned since then.
But did
Everybody has learned over the last 3 years, unless you're a complete moron. Everybody has learned and grown over the last 3 years.
But did they really give him an opportunity?
No, they
to
didn't. No,
succeed back then.
They threw him into an offense that went to the World Series.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't really give him an opportunity. They threw him into an offense that was coming off a World Series trip, like you said, and he had like 2 weeks. Like, what do you have? 15 at bats? Like, how can anybody? He needs a full season.
Didn't
Let
they
him
put?
learn?
I'm pretty sure they put him at third too.
Yeah, like they didn't put him in his natural position. They didn't put him in the lineup where he should be hitting. They didn't give him many opportunities. And then they were like, well, he's not hitting. Well, no.
Just say it. Just say it.
Bro. Like he's had 12 at bats. Who's just gonna walk up in the MLB and start hitting 600 in 12 at bats? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's gonna just start popping home runs on major league pitchers with 2 weeks of work in the majors?
Right.
It just
You
doesn't
just toss
work
him in
that
there.
It doesn't work that way. And so now it's 2.5 years later. Where the hell is he? Let's bring him up. He's looked good in spring training last year. He looked decent in spring training this year.
They should have brought him up. They should have brought him up after. They should have started him this year. Or at least put him on the bench.
At least put him on the bench. But I truly believe he should. As soon as Santana signed with the Royals, Bobby Bradley should have been your starter. Like you said, as soon as Santana was no longer your everyday first baseman, Bobby Bradley should have been.
Because Jake Bauer is not cutting it.
What do you owe this man? Like you don't owe him anything. He's not an expensive guy. I get it, and I get like you have control of him right now. But who cares? Send him to Eastlake. I'd rather see him sit in Eastlake than Bobby Bradley. It makes no sense whatsoever. Not one bit, to the point where like it's almost like I loved the Indians, covering them, watching it. I watched all 60 games last year. It's to the point where like the Indians, like I've watched them, but they're almost unbearable to watch. But you watch them because you, like you said, you have the best pitching staff in the league.
That's how it's been for. That's how it's been for 20 years.
Yeah, from top to bottom: Bieber, Savali, Plesac, McKenzie, Logan Allen's been great. The bullpen's been great. Karinchak's great. Phil Maton's been great. Nick Whitgren's been great. Cam Hill's good.
It's almost like it's almost like the Indians, like how good they went from like Cliff Lee, like CC, Cliff Lee, all these guys. It was like Kluber, almost like a tag team wrestling match. Kluber smacked hands with Bieber, and Bieber came in.
They've essentially tagged each other in CC, Cliff Lee, and like they're pretty much recycling Cy Young awards. Like, the way Bieber's been playing, he tied the record for most strikeouts with why can't I think of the dude's name? Anyways, he tied the record for most.
No. He's one start away from Randy Johnson.
Well, now because it continues, but through the first 4 games, which he's pitched 4 games, he's tied with
Bobby Feller.
No, he's tied with Randy Johnson. I couldn't think of his name. At 45 strikeouts through 4 games.
Gotcha.
And I mean, and then people were like, "Well, Jacob DeGrom's doing that. Noah Syndergaard's close. Who cares, bro? Shane Bieber's doing it, and he won the Cy Young last year. And think about it. Like I know we dislike the dude now, but Bauer is very much an Indians pitcher. He's very much an Indians developed pitcher. He won the Cy Young last year, and now he screw him while he's over there in LA. But I mean, he's still.
I mean, you know what? Good for him, because he wasn't working out in Cleveland. He was having that mental breakdown, throwing the ball, and when he was in Kansas City, throwing the ball, he was having a mental breakdown.
Well,
I think he needed a change.
He really
Tito even told him, "Did you see that when he threw the ball?" I was actually downstairs.
I saw him
theater.
throw the ball. I didn't see what Tito told him, though.
Tito told me, said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh, yeah, I remember that, actually. He kind of went nuts on him.
What the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah, that was... it was insane.
But so he went down to Cincinnati, and then he went to, whatever. He needed to get his mind right.
I don't even know if it's his mind. Trevor Bauer has I'm not even going to try to say it, a very wild personality. And he has a personality where he can't really be in the spotlight too much because it shines and people get mad at him. So in Cleveland, where fans care more than anywhere in the world, Cincinnati, he got away with a lot of stuff because who cares about the Cincinnati Reds? But in Cleveland, fans care so much. They watch your every move. Even when you're not pitching, they want to know what you're doing. Yeah. All of that above. Trevor Bauer is in a situation with the Dodgers now where the Dodgers don't give a damn who you are off the field because they have the money to pay you to just shut up and pitch.
Right. You're just a your jersey.
Yeah, basically, he's number 27 to them, and that's it. And so it. I mean, it is a perfect situation, and I hate the move. I don't agree with the move, but like you said, whatever. He did what he did. He's in a situation where he's at, and I mean, he worked himself up from Arizona where he was trash. The Indians developed him into greatness. He wins a Cy Young last year and cashes out over there in L.A. But he did need to go there because his personality is trash. And well, no big deal. Okay, well, we've only got a couple more things to go. But yeah, but moving on from that into the NBA a little bit. You watched a little bit over the weekend. The Cavs have lost 3 in a row though, dropping the first of which to the Warriors. Steph Curry's been on a tear the last week. That's what happened there. Then they dropped to the Bulls, and then on last night, despite a very nice second half from them, they fall to the Pistons, who currently have the worst record in all of basketball and have already come out and said they could care less about winning.
Yeah, I actually watched that game last night. It was, I mean, the first half, it was like, are we going to watch this again? But after halftime, they were down by 29, something like that, 26, 29, something like that. And the Cavs completely came back, redeemed themselves, and they only lost by 4. And it was just it was good to see the spark in the Cavs, and Colin Sexton and Darius Garland were standing there asking Kevin Love what to do, and Kevin Love was telling them how to do, like, you know, how to get the ball off after the timeout and whatnot. And it was actually good to see these young guys, and, you know, we call Kevin Love an old guy. He's only 32. You know, he's only 7 years older than you, 8 years older than me. But, you know, when you think about it, he only did 1 year of college basketball. So it's kind of a old man sport, I guess, for him. But yeah, it was actually exciting to watch. That was one of the first exciting Cavs games I've watched in a while.
And unfortunately I missed it because of my trip, but just to think about it like that, and the way you just described Kevin Love, it's good to see that, because that is really why they paid him. And we have come on here and we have trashed the contract, trashed the fact that he's on the team. But if he's going to show up and he's not going to be hurt, and he's gonna do things like that and teach this really, really young backcourt of 2 guys who we both like and think could really end up taking a lead to this team. And if he's gonna basically, do that and lead this team and educate this team and really be about making the young guys better, that's 100% exactly what I would like him to do, because that's why he's here. That's why they haven't traded him yet. That's why, I mean, as he goes, the Cavs could go, especially if he...
That's like you were saying. Sorry to cut you off, but as you were saying, yeah, I was wrong about Kevin Love in the previous podcast when I was saying, you know, he's faking these injuries, blah blah blah. You know what? I was kind of talking out of my ass. So watching him now, like, teach these young guys and be the leader of this team, and I've not only watched but listened to multiple games since he's came back. Same with Delly. And you know what I didn't know? They were saying that Delly was only out with a concussion. He had his appendix taken out.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened, But I knew he got injured after the concussion, and that's why he was out so long.
Yeah, he had his appendix taken out. See, I didn't know that.
I mean, that'll make sense. That makes sense. That burst, that surgery, probably took him forever. So, I mean, but just to see these older guys, and like you said, they're not old. They only got us by, 6, 8 years, something like that. Like you said, they're not like old in the sense of old people. They're old in the sense of basketball lives. But to see these older veterans take their time and teach, like you said, Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Colin Sexton. Hell, Chetty is still very young in this league. I obviously don't think he's the answer there at 3, but I mean, just to have that, especially when you had Drummond here, who I'm not sure really took on that role. Larry Nance Jr. starting to be considered an older veteran. For him to take on that role, I very much like. And I know they've only won 20 games this year, but really, what were you expecting the Cavs to do? They're not that far out of this play-in tournament that we'll get into in a minute, and it's just very, very.
Yeah. The one thing about Chetty is yesterday when I was watching the game, he said that he's a morning guy, and that no bueno for me.
Yeah,
I'm not a morning guy.
Not a morning guy at all.
Not at all. All right.
But let's go ahead and get into this play-in tournament to talk about, because the Cavs the other day came out and said that they really would like to make this tournament. What it is the NBA has now decided that only the top 6 teams in each conference officially make the playoffs. And then after that, the 7th and 8th place team are going to play each other, and the 9th and 10th place team is going to play each other. Whoever wins that 7th and 8th place game automatically gets the 7th seed. But then whoever loses it goes ahead and gets to play another game against whoever wins the 9 and 10th seed game. And the winner of the 9 and 10 seed game plays the loser of the 7 and 8 seed game for a chance at the 8th seed. That happens in both the East and Western Conference. So basically what the NBA did is they decided to keep their current playoff format, but add a March Madness style, a mini March Madness style tournament on the outside of it. But, I mean, and you start looking, and the Cavs are only currently 4 games back of that 10th seed. Currently, the Bulls hold that 10th seed. But and then you really got to think about it. The 4 games back, but they're still in 13th place in the East out of 15 teams. So is it worth it? Is it at all worth it to try to make that run, or should they worry about the lottery?
So pretty much what they're doing is they're doing Sweet 16.
Kinda, but like the first 6 seeds set in stone. The first top 6 seeds just kind of sit into the playoffs and wait. But those bottom 4 seeds, there's 2 games on. Well, there's 4 games total because there's 2 in each conference.
Sorry, like the Elite 8. The Elite 10. Is that what they're trying to do?
Kind of, yeah, basically, right. And it's almost like it's an Elite 8 for a chance to play in the playoffs. So your national championship ends up turning into your 7 and 8 seeds. Like, that's what that is basically. So it's just weird, man. You jumbled up a mess that didn't really need to be jumbled up. And I get, like, you might have some drama where the Bulls beat, who knows, the Hawks or something. I don't know the standings that well in the East. Or you might get a situation where the Suns are up there, but like the Nuggets sneak a win over.
I don't understand why the NFL and the NBA keep jumbling up their playoffs. With the MLB, I can understand that. That makes sense. You know, the MLB bringing more teams in because it's only a 5-game series, and then, you know, most of it is wild card. So it's 1 game, and then you go.
And they really were only letting 5 teams in a league, anyways.
Yeah,
there was 5 in the American League, 5 in the National League. NFL was doing 8-8, or no 6-6, and NBA is doing 8-8. It don't make sense for the NBA to do 10-10 when MLB has just as many teams and still only doing 7-7, and football's doing 7-7 with more teams.
Yeah, and I understand last year was COVID year. I get it. The 2-game wild card. Either way, the Indians would have lost, but I understand the 1-game wild card. You know.
Yeah.
You know what? I take that back. I kind of like the 2-game wild card. I don't know.
I mean, I'm all for like a.
That just if the Indians win one, and then I don't know. I'm homering right now.
I'm all for a wild card series. That's fine by me, but the 5 teams is fine too.
Yeah,
you're getting those 2 wild card teams. The 2 wild card teams, if they want to play a best 2 of 3, or in to see who goes and plays the top seed in the divisional series. By all means, I'm all for that, my man. All for it but at a point you just over jumble it. The Miami Marlins, and I liked the way baseball did theirs last year because it was the COVID season. There were 60 games. It was really hard to tell who should be in the playoffs that quickly. But the Miami Marlins started out the season last year missing the first 3 weeks because of COVID.
that was their own fault.
Yeah.
They went out in Atlanta.
The point being is
They went out to Magic City.
Yeah.
Same with Lou Will.
yeah. The point being is though that they missed that time, then they made it up. And then they started their year very bad. But then they had to have all those games that were postponed made up. So at the end of the year, they were able to catch like lightning in a bottle and make the playoffs after being one of the worst teams in the league for the first 3 quarters of the season. But because the volume of games they were playing was so much higher than everyone else, all they had to do was split those games and they got put in because that's just kind of what happened. But that's really all I have for basketball, man. We're winding down on time. Why don't you go ahead and get into this day for me in sports history?
All right, so this day in sports history, April 20th, 420.
Yeah, we didn't mention that at all today.
1945. The Cleveland Browns organization was formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. I mean, that's all you can really say. Hey, buy the T-shirts. Numbers don't lie.
Right, like we were going through this together because your phone was off or whatever, died or whatever. So we were going through this together, and there was a couple that were on here that it was like, okay, we could use that, and then we came across this one. And 1945 Cleveland Browns organization formed on April 20th is perfect for this show.
Oh, absolutely.
What do we talk about most but the Cleveland Browns? It's the number one subject on the show at all times. We could be talking about basketball, and it somehow circles back to the Cleveland Browns. So Howie lost his lid back here behind us. He's bald now.
Hold on. Hey.
Man.
He doesn't see. He
There you
doesn't
go.
like that being out to the viewers.
Yeah,
He's got his hair back on. He's got his hair back on.
We had to get that back on him, but just to come across that, I thought was kind of funny because there was a lot that we could have talked about today. Pete Rose did some stuff. Indians pitcher back in 1910 had his second no-hitter of the season. Michael Jordan breaks the record for playoff points in a game. The Bulls break the single-season record for wins at 72. All on April 20th. There's been like 50 Boston marathons on April 20th. It's just so many.
Hey, you know whose birthday it is? Marijuana's birthday.
And Marijuana's birthday too. By all means, just if you're gonna dabble today, dabble safely and enjoy your time. I don't know why this is a note thing. Keyshawn Johnson was drafted on April 20th in 1996. And I don't know why it's the only thing of note Because if Keyshawn Johnson was drafted on April 20th of 1996, so were 31 other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why is Keyshawn Johnson the only one?
Probably because he's the only one to be in the Hall of Fame.
Maybe he's the only one of note from that.
Mark McGwire.
Mark McGwire, fourth person to ever home run on the Detroit Tigers left field roof. Others are Frank Howard, Harmon Killebrew, and Cecil Fielder.
Hey, Frank Howard, you want to send me some of those testosterone pills you're peddling on TV?
But yeah, I saw all these Boston marathons that happened on April 20th, so I started looking for that one.
Yeah.
That's the one. So I started looking to see if that happened because I figured we could talk about that.
Boston strong.
Yeah, but and they did those ugly yellow uniforms over the weekend.
Oh my gosh, those yellow and blue, like the sky blue and like the bright yellow, like the daisy yellow.
Like it's just, it was just like they were loving them up.
Dandelion yellow.
Yeah,
is what I thought it was.
They were mucking it up and talking about them and stuff like that, and I was just like, "These are trash. Why do you think these are the coolest things in the world?"
Oh my gosh,
Trash.
they look like Akron Rubber Duck jerseys.
Well, first of all, you're the Red Sox, not Boston. I mean, I know you're the Boston Red Sox. First of all, you're the Red Sox, and you've got yellow and sky blue jerseys. Like it doesn't even make sense. There's no
keep that in Akron.
Where in Boston anywhere are yellow and sky blue the colors for anything? Anywhere.
If anything, just make it look like a skyscraper.
You could have went with green and white, and I'd have been happier because at least that's the Celtics colors,
right?
Or if you wanted to go red, white, and blue, that's yours and the Patriots colors. At least that makes sense. What does yellow and blue? It don't make sense. They're ugly. All it is a vibrant.
Well, they were saying it was like it was the anniversary of the bombing, but.
Yeah, but what does yellow and blue got to do with that?
Wear your regular jerseys.
Yeah. Wear the ones that say Boston across the chest.
I mean, the Patriots and stuff same with the Red Sox. On 9/11, they wear the bandana because the guy in the red bandana. Have you ever seen that 30 for 30?
Yeah, well, that's what kind of
the man in the red bandana.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Do something like that. Or even if it was just your normal jerseys with a patch, a Boston Strong patch or something, let's do that. Or we do Jackie Robinson Day where everyone wears 42. We do Players Weekend where everyone changes their name on the back. I'm all for celebrating and remembering, not celebrating because it was a shitty thing that happened, I'm all for in memorial, celebrating in memorial of all that. I'm all for that. Do it with a patch.
Yeah.
Do it with or don't put players' names on the back of the jersey. Put Boston Strong on the back of the jersey. You do all this stuff where you switch all this stuff for Players Weekend and everything else and all of that stuff. Do whatever. Everyone wear the number, whatever it is, of the people that died.
Wear like a almost like a I don't know, almost like a first responders. Like what they wear.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not. I mean, I guess you can't do like with the reflectors because you're playing baseball, but almost like something like that.
It makes sense.
That kind of color.
It makes a whole heck of a lot more sense than yellow and blue. Yeah, and I don't know how we got into this, and we're running out of time. I'm not going to continue to rant about ugly Boston Red Sox uniforms because there's really no point in our lives in doing it. Just it was dumb. But April 20th, 1945, the Cleveland Browns were formed by Arthur Mickey McBride. Do you have anything else for the listeners today, my man?
You can follow me on twitter.com at ETH Simpson CGOD. You can follow me on Instagram app at ETH Simpson. You can follow my main man at
on Twitter at BWardCLE, on IG at B.Ward52. Go ahead and follow the podcast, as my man over here said, on twitter.com at podcastgiven, on the Instagram app at anygivenpodcast, facebook.com/anygivenpodcast. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube. I promise you it's a click of a button. Don't even make sense. We're averaging what views we are a week and just not gaining subscribers. You guys just like searching us and just subscribe. You'll get a notification. It'll be so much easier to find, easier to watch. You'll love it. I promise. Just do it. Thank you guys for tuning in to Any Given Podcast. You have a wonderful rest of your week.
Hey, if you subscribe to the Any Given Podcast YouTube, you will get a 12-month calendar of me and Brendan Ward washing cars.
In our bikinis.
Yes, in our bikinis. But on another note, God bless, stay blessed.